Coach Whitaker, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, Sam. Thanks for having me on.
You are quite welcome. So I know, at least over here in Alliance, the weather is garbage. How was it over at Perry today? Did you guys get outside, and how did it go?
We did not make it outside today. We're sitting in the same rain you've had up there all day.
Unbelievable. I mean, and I know you got a huge game coming up against Walsh, and we'll get into the tournament and the win over North and everything. But I've talked to quite a few coaches here the last 3 weeks, and we all kind of go through the same thing every year. Mother Nature kind of rules the roost, and you have to adjust. But Coach, how have you been able to keep your guys sharp and in tune? Never mind the start you got off to, and now you've just kind of rallied with a 14-win season. But how have you kept the train on the track with all the interruptions because of weather and different things?
I think a lot of that comes from the kids themselves. This is the first year I've had a senior junior laden group. We're running one sophomore out there in the lineup for the past 3-4 years. We've been running a really young lineup out there throughout the season. And that veteran group they just know how to manage their business, and it's made my job a lot easier when we have these days like today where it's raining, it's messy, and we can come in small groups and get some individual work done before we go to battle on Thursday versus Walsh.
So today's practice, did it remind you of all of any of the practices that you have back in March because you're indoors?
Oh no, I mean practice today reminds me of more of like our winter workouts, and we bring them in small groups and do some individual work and just kind of try and fine tune some things.
Very good. So you started off 1-10, and then you get a win against Salem, a couple more setbacks, Boardman being the last one, and then against Firestone on the 19th, and then Glen Oak, you suffered a loss there after there, but then you guys kind of catch fire. What happened?
Early in the season, we had some internal issues that we were dealing with early on, and some things between the lines was just trying to figure out who could get it done and what bodies we need to put out there and what that mix looked like. And once we kind of settled into guys adapting to their new roles and being able to produce a little bit, when we got some surprises in the lineup that have come out and shined a little bit that we weren't really expecting. But once that started to happen, the kids just kind of bought into each other, and they're like, oh man, we can do this. And we started putting up really good scoring runs, and the pitching's been outstanding, and they give us a chance to win every night when we go out. And when you couple that with good defense, it's a recipe for success.
I mean, you guys went on a heck of a streak there with wins consecutive over Copley, Hoover, the Falls, Massillon, Barberton, Boardman, and then you split with Green. You jumped right back into the win column. Was it the pitching coach? Was it the hitting, the feeling? Was it the intangibles? What was it that kind of started to get this thing turned around?
Honestly, Sam, it's the kids. They just have stayed the course. We went from early in the season, you look out across the field and you give a sign to the hitter and you ask them to lay down a bunt. You see their shoulders shrug forward and their heads kind of drop. You get the complete opposite effect now. They're nodding their head yes, and they're like, yep, that's going to work. Let's go. This is what we need to do to win. And that has been the big turnaround.
Well, you certainly, I mean, that's what you hope. You hope that happens as a coach is the kids start buying in and you know what? There's nothing like stringing some W's together, is there? That kind of turns everything around, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean that those two games versus Glen Oak, I think we won 1-0 or 3-0 the one game, and then we lost in a walk-off at Glen Oak the next night, and we had that game just about closed out. We had 2 balls tip off the shortstop's glove that were diving plays that would have ended the game, and we just didn't come out ahead. But the kids were excited about what we did because you see where Glen Oak's at right now. I mean, they're 21-4.
Mm-hmm.
They're ranked 10th in the state at that moment. To come out and take a game from them and then turn around and do it again the following week versus Massillon. I mean, the kids were just like, we got this, and that's kind of the message they're telling each other. Yesterday in the tournament game, it was no panic. It was just, yeah, we're good. It's okay. We're down 2. We're fine. Just keep going.
And you rode that to a 3-2 win in 8 innings, and now you will match up with Walsh Jesuit coming up at 5 o'clock. That will be the next ball game up for Coach Whitaker and the Panthers. And Coach, kind enough to join us here today on the Sam Berkman Show, 1310 WDPN, talking some Perry Panther baseball with Craig Whitaker. The Panthers are 14-12 now, trying to get 15 and stay alive here in the high school baseball season. Again, riding the wave of victories this time around. Greene, Hoover, Brunswick, Stowe, and then East Lake North. Of course, Walsh is coming up. You've played a lot of different teams, different conferences, different styles. Have you seen just about everything so far this year, up to date?
Yeah, I mean, when you go around and get outside of Stark County, baseball changes just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, when we get away from Spike over at Massillon, we get away from Phil over at Jackson, you get away from that small ball style manufacturing runs to guys that are just trying to out-hit you and win the game that way. Styles change, and, the way that they attack you defensively changes, and you kind of just adapt and try and move on and put your team in the best possible situation to be successful.
Coach, how about some of the young men that have kind of led the charge here for you? Maybe a couple of guys offensively, defensively, guys on the mound. Who's really stepped up here for you?
Boy, on the mound, I'm running out a 3-man rotation with Preston Breet, Ben Rogers, and we also have sorry, drawing a blank there. Jack Kintz. He's our next guy up. So those guys have been outstanding on the mound. We're going back and looking at some records, and I think as a staff, they're kind of setting the bar right now. So we'll hope that continues into tomorrow's game. Offensively, Marshall Geckler, senior. I mean, he's a good name in the wrestling world.
Mm-hmm.
He has really been kind of the spark plug that kind of gets us going and keeps us moving forward. Hunter Brand has recently came on. He was in a slump throughout the beginning and the middle of the season. He was really struggling, but, he found his way. He's learned to work through that. He's been productive for us. Brian Whitmer, get down to Rowan Halter. Rowan Halter offensively has been the pleasant surprise. He's the grinded out Perry kid who he just figured out a way to find his way in the lineup and earn a spot, and we haven't been able to take him out. So those are some successful kids that we've had in the lineup here recently.
Obviously it all starts with pitching, and I've had a lot of coaches on the last couple of weeks, and the success they're having is because their guys have been throwing strikes, and it doesn't hurt to get some timely hits to make the routine play, maybe make a spectacular play, and it kind of all comes together. And I got to ask, obviously the Perry wrestling program stands alone. They expect to be where they are every year, and that's hoisting trophies and ribbons at the end of the year. You had the magical run by the basketball team that just came out of nowhere, went all the way to the state championship game. Has that rubbed off at all on the baseball team at all? Has it been an infectious thing? But hey, look there. Why not us?
Yeah, I mean, Marshall coming out of the wrestling room, he has that expectation. Yeah, Jack Kintz, I got a young XJ Wallheater. He is coming from the basketball side of things, and they got to see it. They got a taste of it, and they see what it takes to make that jump to the next level. And they kind of just lead the way a little bit in the way that they go about their business, and we try and get things done. And I think what basketball did and what the wrestling team has done over the years is just outstanding. And we like to see that carry over. I mean, our softball program right now is I think they're over in Ashland playing right now, actually. So, and that's in the regional semis. So it just is kind of carrying us along a little ways, and we hope to see that continue.
No doubt about it. By the way, I should congratulate the following Perry baseball players. This was announced earlier today, I think. All Federal League team, first team, Marshall Geckler, Preston Bright. Honorable mention, Ben Rogers and Rowan Halter. So congratulations to those young men. So Walsh Jesuit coming up, and traditionally they have been a very, very good baseball program. I know that Coach Chris Kazmar is no longer there, but they've got really good baseball tradition. This is not one of the Walsh teams, however, Coach, that's just pounded teams. They do. I think they're like 14-6, 15-6. They're a very formidable opponent. What do they look like in 2025?
I would compare them to a Glen Oak,
Okay.
A Jackson. Like that's what we're going to see. I mean, offensively, they're very comparable to those two teams. On the mound, we're expecting to see, an outstanding young man by the name of Sean Sullivan up there. We're just got to grind it out, and I'm expecting, a 1-2 run game, and it might be a 9, 10, 12 inning game like you had going over at Hoover yesterday. But I feel like our kids are up for the challenge.
Walsh comes in 14-6-1. And of course, the Perry Panthers come in at 14-12. And of course, Walsh, they'll play a great schedule. They got St. Ed's is on there, St. V, Mayfield, Benedictine, Twinsburg, just to name a few. But hey, the way you guys are playing right now, you've got that whatever that is, it's kind of taken over. And I don't see any reason why you can't go out and pick up that W and keep this thing going. How much fun are you having now at this time of the year, knowing that, it's one and done, but gosh, you've come such a long way here this season, and I know you want this ride to continue.
Oh yeah, I mean, to see the turnaround that we took, that when you talk about that 1-10 in the first couple weeks, I mean, we took some punches, some haymakers to the face there. I mean, 10 runs, 3 times in 2 weeks, and to see where we are now. And my wife would have told you, I told you this last night. She was like, "You don't seem like you're having fun." I go, "I'm too focused on what's going on. I'm trying to make sure I'm ready for the next opponent." And so I think I'll get to enjoy it more when it's over.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's a while before that happens. Coach, I appreciate you making time today. Glad you got a little practice time in, and of course, best of luck against Walsh Jesuit. If you happen to take care of business, and we hope that you do, we can catch up with you and get ready for the next round. All the best, and thanks for coming on today.
I appreciate it, Sam. Thank you very much.
You got it. There he is.